Let me tell you, Buckingham Palace isn't just tense right now, it's practically vibrating with panic. And no, we're not talking about some silly tabloid rumor or an awkward press interview. This is way darker, more dangerous, and if the whispers are true, it could blow the very foundations of the monarchy into dust. The word on the street? A sex tape. Not just any steamy scandal, but an alleged recording of Prince Andrew on Jeffrey Epstein's notorious private island. And here's the nightmare fuel. Apparently, this tape isn't locked in some dusty vault. It's reportedly sitting in the hands of Russian intelligence. Yes, Moscow might be holding the most explosive royal blackmail material in modern history. It all traces back to a name most people have never even heard: John Mark Dougan, a former Florida deputy who bolted to Russia years ago. But he didn't just pack up his toothbrush and hop on a plane. Oh no, he allegedly took with him a digital treasure chest of Epstein-related files. And here's the jaw-dropper. Dougan himself has publicly claimed he's got dirt. Not rumors, not gossip, video. Footage that could send shockwaves through the royal family so severe the monarchy might never recover. Now imagine this. If the Kremlin really does have that tape, this isn't some tawdry gossip piece. This is a weapon, a geopolitical bargaining chip. UK and US intelligence officials, they're not laughing. They're treating this like a live grenade. The implications are brutal. Such a leak wouldn't just confirm the worst fears about Andrew's Epstein ties. It would give Russia the power to blackmail, destabilize, or humiliate the monarchy on the world stage. And trust me, there are real insiders, not the clickbait tabloid type, who believe the monarchy couldn't survive something this nuclear. As one royal source bluntly put it, this isn't scandal, it's national security. But hey, this isn't the first time the royal image has been threatened by, let's say, compromising footage. Long before Meghan Markle wore a tiara, whispers followed her around Hollywood. Back in her acting days, there were constant threats of certain clips or images surfacing. And while most of it turned out to be fake or wildly overblown, the palace still kept its guard up. Some images did slip out. Yes, nudity, but nothing sexual. Still, it was a wake-up call. When private content collides with public curiosity, things can spiral fast. And here's where Meghan's story takes a twist. Because unlike Andrew, she somehow managed to make a lot of that supposed material vanish. No one really knows how. Maybe the footage never existed. Maybe her legal team worked around the clock. Maybe some serious hush money changed hands. Either way, she sidestepped disaster. But Andrew? Oh, he's got no such safety net. If this tape is real, it's gone from their control. Word is, it's locked tight in Moscow's grip. And that's the kind of grip you don't break. That's why palace officials aren't just stressed. They're losing sleep. This isn't about a little PR fire to put out. This is about a foreign government holding a weapon that could scorch the monarchy beyond repair. And here's the thing. If that footage shows anything even remotely criminal or just completely depraved, Andrew won't be the only one to burn. The ripple effect could shatter the entire royal image. King Charles would be forced to do something drastic. And Prince William? He's already been quietly working to distance the monarchy from Andrew's baggage. This could be the final straw that makes him shove Andrew out completely. In fact, some insiders believe this would push Charles to make brutal cuts. Not just Andrew, but maybe even Harry and Meghan too. Why? Because when the walls close in, everyone who's ever been a liability gets dragged under the microscope. And behind those palace walls, there's one unspoken law: protect the crown at all costs. That means troublemakers, whether they're scandal magnets or just a bad headline waiting to happen, get pushed aside like they never existed. Andrew's already had a taste of that. Once upon a time, he was untouchable. But after the Epstein fallout, his royal duties, gone. Military titles, gone. Even the late Queen, who adored him, had to sever him from official life. And now? A sex tape in enemy hands? That's not just another PR headache. That's a death sentence for his public life. Some say that's exactly why William's been playing the long game. Years of quietly but firmly cutting Andrew loose. Not out of personal hate, but to protect the crown he's destined to wear. And if that means slicing off the monarchy's rotten branches, so be it. But Andrew isn't the only ticking time bomb. Meghan and Harry, they've become just as unpredictable in their own ways. Let's talk about Meghan for a second. For years, whispers have floated about material from her acting days. Nude shots, private clips, even alleged phone recordings. Most of it never surfaced or turned out to be photoshopped. But here's the catch. It's not about what's real. It's about the fear it could be real. And fear is a currency in that palace. It shapes decisions. The difference? Meghan learned to control her narrative. Legal threats, possible payouts, or maybe sheer luck. She managed to keep a lid on it all. Andrew? The man couldn't control a narrative if his life depended on it. He's reckless, stubborn, and blind to how bad it really is. And in the hands of a foreign government, that recklessness makes him the monarchy's weakest link. And here's where it gets even colder. Russia doesn't even need to release the tape. They just need the world to believe it exists. That's the art of compromise. Compromising material used to control you. It's psychological warfare, and it works like a charm. Sources say Buckingham Palace has gone into silent crisis mode, staff being reshuffled, security protocols rewritten, people whispering in corners like it's a spy movie. Everyone's walking on eggshells. This isn't just about Andrew anymore. It's about how one man's mess can put a 1,000-year-old legacy at risk. Now, while the palace is biting its nails over Andrew's disaster, another shadow is creeping in, and it's wearing stilettos. Enter Jessica Mulroney. Once upon a time, Jessica wasn't just Meghan Markle's best friend. She was practically royal adjacent, the bridesmaid whisperer, the stylist mastermind, the woman Meghan trusted when she was navigating the terrifying leap from Hollywood actress to Duchess of Sussex. Her kids were in Meghan's wedding. She had front row seats to the fairy tale. And now, Meghan reportedly won't even answer her calls. That silence isn't just awkward, it's nuclear, especially when you consider that Jessica's kept her mouth shut for years, even after Meghan publicly distanced herself during Jessica's own controversy. At first, people called it loyalty. Now, it looks more like a ticking time bomb. Reports are swirling that Jessica has been quietly telling friends she regrets ever getting close to Meghan. Not just because of the friendship fallout, but because it cost her her marriage, her brand, and her peace of mind. And with her career on ice and nothing left to lose, the rumors of a tell-all are getting louder, whether that's a podcast appearance, a bombshell interview, or even a book deal. And here's the thing, if Jessica talks, she won't just be spilling Meghan's tea. She'll be shattering the entire carefully curated Meghan brand. She's not going to talk about the Duchess in a podcast voice. She knows the real Meghan, the woman behind the closed doors, the one who, according to people in Jessica's circle, can be ruthless when it suits her. It's a pattern Meghan's critics know well. She gets close, takes what she needs, and then cuts the cord. She's done it to friends, to family, and even to Jessica's kids. Children who once called her Aunt Meghan, who were part of her wedding, and then suddenly, poof, it was like they never existed. For Jessica, that kind of cold detachment isn't just a bruise to the ego, it's a wound that doesn't heal. And after years of swallowing her side of the story, she might finally be ready to tell it. Not to get revenge, but to reclaim her truth before someone else twists it. Meanwhile, across the pond, there's Harry. Oh, Harry. While all this is swirling, his marriage is quietly cracking at the edges. Sources say Harry recently disappeared for several days on a solo trip to Africa. No calls, no texts, no updates to Meghan, just silence. And for Meghan, that silence was deafening. This wasn't just some petty marital spat. This was a man, the same man who gave up his country, his family, and his royal role for her, taking a breath away from her world. Insiders say Meghan spiraled during those days, not just because she couldn't reach him, but because deep down she knew what it meant. Harry wasn't out chasing fame or posing for cameras. He was reconnecting with peace, with the part of himself that still misses the crown, that still wants to be Prince Harry, not California Harry. Some believe this trip was more than just a getaway. It was a test run, a peek at what life could look like if he walked away from Meghan's world entirely. And here's the cruel twist. Without King Charles in the picture, there's no path back into the royal fold. William wouldn't open that door. He's too protective of the crown and too burned by the past. Once Charles is gone, that bridge is ash, and Meghan knows it. That's why she's gripping onto brand deals, lifestyle pitches, and podcast projects like a lifeline. But none of it sticks. Not because she's not capable, but because it's all curated, crafted, manufactured, and the public can smell that kind of inauthenticity a mile away.